All right, cool. If you can see me okay and hear me okay, drop a 777 in the chat. If you can see me okay and hear me okay, it is lit, guys. Welcome to Skills Camp. Man, I'm wearing my Tennessee gear right now. Shout out to my boy Alvin Kamara, $75 million contract signed this year. And the reason why I'm wearing this jersey is because Alvin epitomizes what we're talking about tonight or for the rest of the week in terms of the skills, right? And that's what we're going to be diving into, the skill set. See, everybody on this call, you're on this call because you really believe that you can go chairman. You believe that you can go chairman 25, chairman 50, chairman 100, and all of that. But before you can become a millionaire, the first thing that you got to recognize or become aware of is that, hey, I got to become a skillionaire. See, it's one thing to want $1 million, but it's another thing to possess the skill sets that's required to get it, right? And so when I was playing at Tennessee, or anybody that plays sports in college or high school or whatever, you understand that every year before the season started, guess what you had to go to? Training camp. Obviously, we're already in season. We're already grinding. We're already in the field. We're already making things happen. But I still wanted to have a camp because here's the deal. Again, the skills, guys, is the most important component. All right. Somebody say a Lord camp. Yeah, we got memories when it comes to training camps, playing football, basketball, and all that stuff. And you know, like I know, when it's time for camp, man, listen, you never know how long practice is going to be. You never know what skills you're going to learn that day. But you do know when it's over, you're going to be a better player than when you went in. Think about that. See, by the time this camp is over on Friday, when you leave Friday, you're going to be a better player than when you started, right? Because a lot of people, again, on the line tonight, you want to build a big business. You want to do really well, but you really haven't taken ownership of becoming a professional and maximizing on the skills, right? And the people that make the millions of dollars, Alvin Kamara, $75 million with the Saints, he epitomizes the skill. Patrick Mahomes, the highest paid NFL player in history, over $500 million on his contract. He epitomizes the skill. You name a great player, you name a great networker, you name a great entrepreneur, you name anybody that's great at what they do. I'm going to show you somebody who's taken time to develop the skills. All right, and we talked about on our mindset call last night. If you missed it, it's on YouTube. We talked about leadership, and we talked about leadership being influence, and how I develop my influence is going to be based on how serious I take the development of the necessary skills that are required, and how much I dedicate into growth and getting better as a person, right? Because leadership is very important. But this training this week is going to talk very little about leadership, but every skill that you learn is going to help you become a better leader for you to have a successful organization, right? So tonight, we're going to be talking about the highest paid skill in network marketing. There are a lot of skills that pay, but my friend, this by far is the highest paid skill in networking. And I'm gonna actually Zelle or Apple Pay or Cash App somebody who can answer it in the chat box. Let's see who knows the highest paid skill in network marketing. Oh, Jamar Jackson, he's the first one to get it. Jamar Jackson is the first one to get it. The highest paid skill, family, is promotion. Yeah, we need to know how to prospect. Yeah, we need to know how to present. But we really, truly have to understand in totality the importance of promotion. I live here in Atlanta, and in my building, I live with the #1 party promoter in Atlanta. There's nobody that makes more money from promoting parties and promoting events than this guy named DC, right? If you live in Atlanta, you go to parties, you know who DC is, Fly Guy DC. There's nobody that makes more money from promoting parties than him, right? He's the host of the parties, he promotes the parties, and his job is to get people to the space, to get people to the club. That's his only job. People pay him to post, promote, and get people to the event. He gets paid thousands of dollars a month doing that. I mean, the dude got the 2020 Vet, the Range Rover, another car. He's doing very, very well for himself, but all he's doing is promoting the events. He's promoting the event. And see, there's boxers. that have made millions of dollars from getting in a ring, fighting, boxing. But there's another gentleman who's made more money than the majority of boxers, and the only thing that he did was get butts in the arena to watch the boxers fight. He never stepped in a ring before, but he's earned over $150 million through the 70s and the 90s from just promoting the event. See, he didn't get knocked out by, whoever he was promoting for, whether it be, I don't know who was fighting in the 70s. I'm not a big boxing fan. I could throw Muhammad Ali out there, but who knows who he was promoting for. But watch this. They had to get knocked around. They had to be the one showing the plan. They had to be the one getting the objections. But all he had to do was get the people there to hear or see the fights. That's the highest paid skill, family, in this industry, because what that skill really boils down to is just leverage. And like I talked about on the leadership call on Sunday for some of the leaders that were on the call, I said, man, the superstars in this industry, what they're really good at is pointing and leveraging. Pointing to the information and leveraging. Pointing to the information and leveraging. Pointing to the information and leveraging. I'll never forget, I asked David a question one time. I said, David, I was asking him a question about leadership. I think the question was, David, how do you develop leaders? What does that process look like for you? And he said, listen, all you do is get them the same information that you got that helped you. So the same information that helped you grow as a leader, you leverage that information and you get it to the people that you want to help. Because leadership is something that's not developed in one conversation. Leadership is not something that's developed from one gym. Leadership is not something that's developed from one Zoom call. Leadership is something that's practiced over and over and over, but we have to know what we're supposed to practice. Because my football coach, when I was in training camp at Tennessee back in 2013, 7 years ago, he would always tell me, just because you're practicing something, that doesn't mean that you're practicing it the right way. So just because you're doing something, it doesn't mean that you're doing it the right way. See, just because you may drop a link in a group chat, just because you may post a flyer, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're promoting. So you got posers. Posers, what they do is, they kind of just, send a link to an event. They kind of just, drop a flyer to an event. An amateur may actually invite somebody out to an event. But the professionals, the people that make the big bucks, family, again, the highest earners, what they're really, really good at is promoting. You got to understand that your business will go to the next level in every single area when you take promotion seriously. Promoting events, promoting webinars, promoting training calls, promoting whatever. Everything is an event. Everything is an event. Anytime you got a third party, especially when you have a third party, people that have made more money than you, have more experience than you, you want to leverage. You want to be able to point and leverage because you, my friend, are a superstar. So you want to be able to point and leverage the leaders, point and leverage the event, because the event, I remember my first company, and I'm going to be talking a lot tonight about my first company. All right, not the name of the company, but just my experience in the company, because I had this guy named Derek Smith. I never forget. I went to an event. And I asked him, I said, Derek, what do I got to do? Like, I'm up and coming. What's going to be the key for me getting to the next level? He said, you want to utilize the events, because if you get people to the events will build your business for you. And I said, wait a minute. What do you mean by that? And because I was so new in the industry, I didn't really understand what he said. It took me time to really understand that it's the events that build the business. Now, obviously, right now, there's not a lot of physical events happening, but that should make you more excited, because now your only job is to get people to press a link. Think about that. How hard is it for you to get somebody to press a link? It's not really that hard. It's not really that hard, but you got to understand the process in which you're supposed to be doing this so it can make sense for the people that you're talking to. Because if I'm a poser, if I'm an amateur and I'm not taking promotion as serious as I should, my organization, they won't show up. My people, they won't show up because I'm not taking it seriously. See, guys, it's the events. It's the third parties that build your business. It's not just you. It's not just you as the leader that builds it. See, it's the people that build the business. It's the people that build the organization. But what you got to do as a leader or a leader in training is get people to the information, get people to the events, get people tuned into third-party tools and resources that can help them grow. Everything that I speak about, family, I speak about it from experience. I speak about it from experience. So what we're about to do on this call is we're going to take a few, we're going to take a walk down memory lane, because I want to give you guys my process in terms of promoting events, taking you all the way back to 2016 when I got started in the industry of network marketing. And I had somebody tell me, like Derek Smith, he told me, he said, listen, if you want to make the big bucks, you have to promote the events. You got to get people to the events. You got to leverage the events, because it's the events that are going to build your business. It's the trainings that are going to build your business. My first year in the industry, just like some of you guys are going to lead this call and not apply it. That was me. And that's okay. Because again, there are some things that we won't even be able to receive until our mindset gets to a place where we can truly understand it. Because I always say this, we never perform to the level of our ability. We always perform to the level of our awareness. So yes, everybody on the line, you have the ability to promote an event. Right? You have the ability to get people a link. You have the ability to send somebody a flyer. You have the ability to promote, but it's not the ability alone. It's your awareness of the event that will make you drive the promotion for the event. Understand, guys, it's the events that build the business, right? So watch this. Let me share my screen with you guys real fast. I'm probably gonna have to go a little slow because I'm trying to do this from my laptop, and I was trying to upload my photos to my laptop earlier. And what I want to do real quick, I want to show you, right, my very first real event. And I'm going to give you a story of what happened to me at my very first event. When I talk about event, yeah, I went to trainings and all that before this, but this is what was the first like regional event that I went to. If you've been a part of the company for a couple of years, we have those, those go beyond events, all those big events that's not the convention, right? So I want to take you through my process of 2016 at what happened to me at my first event, right? So I'm pulling it up right now. Where we at? Okay, cool. Boom. Share screen. Where we at? Pull this up. We're going to share the screen. And boom. Here we go. If you can see my screen okay, drop a 777 in the chat box if you can see my screen okay right now. All right, perfect. Cool. So this was my very first event. If you see the date, it was November 5th, 2016. Mind you, I got involved with the industry of network marketing that past July. I'm thinking about the month of August or September. That's when the gentleman, Derek Smith, told me that if you want to make the big bucks, get your people to the event. Now, at this moment in my business, I was basically like a platinum 2000, right? I may had about 50 to 60 customers or agents in my business at this particular moment. But when I went to this event, I went by myself. I didn't bring anybody with me. I didn't promote the event. I didn't allow anybody else to have the same exact experience that I didn't know that I was going to have. But I can imagine if I would have brought more people to the event, I can just imagine what would have happened to my GV coming out of the event. Because when you go to events, when you put yourself in the right environment, when you put yourself in the environment to learn, this is where your belief system begins to expand and your belief system begins to stretch. At this event, I met this gentleman here in this picture. His name is Alfred Nixon. Alfred is currently earning about $500,000 a month at 27 years old in another company. He's one of my closest friends to the day. I was just with him out in LA last week, right? Good friend of mine. But at this event, this is when I first met Alfred. Alfred was 23 at the time, and he was earning about $30,000 a month. I was 23 at the time, and I was earning about maybe $3,000 or $4,000 a month. And Alfred asked me a question. He said, bro, who do you got with you? And I was like, damn, nobody. And he didn't even say anything. He kind of just looked away. And I said, well, Alfred, how many people do you have with you? And he said like 15 or 17 or something like that. And I was like, it just hit me. I said, wow, this is what Derek Smith was talking about, getting people to the event. But anyway, when I met Alfred, what happened for me, family, I got to see my future, because at this present moment, I really didn't understand what the industry of network marketing could do for me. It wasn't until I went to an event and I saw all the six-figure earners in the company, all the seven-figure earners in the company. I met somebody who was the same age as me that was having astronomical amounts of success. So that said, man, it made me say, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Until I can't do this anymore, this is what I'm going to do, because I had saw my future. But I went to this event by myself. I didn't bring anybody with me. And my personal production after the event went up because I had learned so much. My belief system had expanded. I had learned new information. But what was created was a gap in production, meaning I was a top producer, but there was nobody in my organization that was a top producer, because before this event, there was about maybe 3 or 4 trainings that were happening, but I would always go to these trainings by myself or with one person. So this event was in November. Now let me unshare and let me bring it back with you. So I said, cool. I went to that event by myself. I'm not ever going to another event by myself. So then we had an actual convention that came around. So let me pull up the convention photo, because I need you guys to understand the importance of the event. I'm going to take you all the way up to present day, so this can all make sense to you as to how my personal business changed when I understood the importance of events and pointing to information and leveraging all the superstars. So that was in November. Then we had another event in February. Pull my screen up. Some of you guys may actually know this gentleman. He used to be a part of the organization. Share screen. Boom. You should be able to see my screen now. So this was my first event. This was my first convention that I had ever went to. And I'm like, man, I got one person with me. It's lit. Business about to go to the next level. But I didn't understand that it wasn't just about bringing your number one producer with you. You have to bring multiple people with you to the event. But here's what happened. At the time, this gentleman was doing about like maybe 2,000 or 3,000, 4,000 in volume at the time. Upon leaving this event, after seeing all the success, after seeing all the people that were ranking up in all the success stories, his volume went to over 10,000 30 days later. Why? Because his belief system had expanded. He knew that more was possible. And then I got to thinking, I said, dang, it was just me and CJ at that event. What had happened if I brought more people to the event? Because Alfred told me he had X amount of people at the event. Derek Smith told me that if I want to have a big business, then I got to start leveraging the events. I got to start understanding the power of the events. But you know what I did? I still didn't get it. I still didn't pay it any attention. I still didn't take it that serious. You want to know why I know I didn't? Because watch this. This was another event, another regional event that was happening. That event was in February. Just stay with them. I'm about to get into the training, but I need you to really walk with me. And by the way, at this event that I just shared with you, the first convention I went to, at that event, I was awarded Rookie of the Year. I was announced top 65 producers in the company. I was ranked at number 31, had only been in the company 5 months, right? And CJ got to see his leader getting awarded and all this stuff, but there was nobody else in the organization that could see that. Nobody else could see what could happen if they took the business seriously. It was only CJ. But guess what I did that summer? You won't believe what I did that summer. I did the same exact thing. And we had another event. Let me pull it up for you. Watch this. We had another event that summer. And you know what I did? I brought one person with me. And guess who that person was? It was CJ. I still didn't understand that, bro, I have to bring a lot of people to the event, because every person that I get in front of the event, every person that I get in front of the information, you can add an extra $1,000 per year on top of your income. So for every person that you get plugged into the convention, you can add an extra $1,000 per year to your income. That's why David says, if you want to become a 6-figure earner, you got to get 100 people to the event. If you want to become a 7-figure earner, you got to get 500 to 1,000 people at every single event. But I didn't understand this. Why? Because my level of awareness had not raised yet. So you know what happened? I was personally producing. I was doing really well because I was the one going to the events. I was the one getting in front of the information, but I did not make it important for my organization to do the same exact thing. And because I didn't make it a priority, because I didn't make it important, they would rather watch me go on Facebook. They would rather watch me go on Instagram rather than show up for themselves because I did not make it important. So it's safe to say that company, I didn't have the level of success that I wanted. And then obviously the grace of God came and I found IML. Right? But here's the deal. Every event, Derek Smith told me when I first joined the company, you want to get people to the events. The events are going to build your business. Guess what I do? I don't listen. Just how some of us do. We hear information, but we don't listen. And that was me. So I had spent 11 to 12 months in that company, and there were like 3 major events. And the first event I went to, I went by myself. The second one I went to, I brought one person. The third one that came, I brought the same exact person. I did not make it important to my organization to show up to the events. So you know what happened? My income stayed at $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, because I was the one that was producing. I was not developing other producers because I wasn't getting people in front of the information that helped me produce. Is this making sense to anybody on the line so far? If you're tracking with me, let me know you're tracking with me tonight. Let me know you're tracking with me. Because this is important. Because understand this, right now, there aren't physical events. So what you have to do is become a professional at just leveraging the events and getting all your people plugged into the Zoom calls, plugged into the trainings, making it important to your organization. If you're doing physical events, you have to make it important. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But let's fast forward. Let's fast forward real quick. Let's fast forward really quick. Let me unshare this and pull up another picture. Where we at? 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 Boom. So this is not everybody that came to this event. This is just a picture from the event, but I want to show you guys because a lot of people ask me, Riyadh, what helped you go Chairman 10 in 5 months? And what helped me go Chairman 10 in 5 months was promoting events. I want you to look to the far right and notice who you see in this picture to the far right. You know who that is? That's Gio McCoy, Chairman 10. At this present time, this is an IML event. This is August 15th, 2017. This is the day that I joined the company. In this picture is 4 people. But at this event, I had personally invited 17 people to the event. The importance, the reason why I'm telling you this and what makes this so powerful is because I wasn't even in the company yet. I didn't even have a link yet. When Gio was ready to sign up, I didn't even have a link to send him because I wasn't in the company yet. But I made sure that I promoted the event. Why? Because I had somebody tell me a year before in 2016 that if I want to build a big business, I got to promote events. So when I joined this particular company in August of 2017, I took the information that I learned from that gentleman and I brought it with me. And I said, cool, if this is what he said to do in that company, I didn't do it. I'm going to make sure I do it in this company. So 17 people came with me to the very first event. You know who I met at that event? I met David and Monitier. I hope you guys can still see this picture that I'm sharing. This is me and David. Let me just unshare and then reshare so I can make sure that everybody can see it, right? This is me and David. I meet David at my very first event where I brought 17 people. How did David become a mentor of mine? Because from the time David met me, I was working on becoming a professional. I wasn't even in the company yet, but I brought 17 people with me to the event. Why? Because I understood the importance of promoting events. I'm not done with you yet. I'm not done with you yet. Let me fast forward to a couple days later. Because I need to make this promotion thing, I need to make it clear so you can understand that I'm not just saying promote. I'm telling you, this is how we became a Chairman 50 organization. So watch this. This is a couple days later. The Davis date was August 15th. If you look at the date on this flyer, on this picture, that says August 20th. That was another event where I brought 15 plus people with me. And if you look at to the far left again, who do you see? Geo. If you look to the far right, who do you see? Platinum 5000, Brittany Burrell. She was there. Now, mind you, these weren't big events. These were hotel meetings. But I understood the importance of just getting people in front of the information. I understood it. So now let me fast forward in time. Let me fast forward in time. Because when you lead this call, you're gonna be a master promoter. You're gonna promote for these events because you're gonna understand what it can do for your business if you just do it the right way. If you make it a priority, if you make it important enough, right? If you make it important enough. What am I looking for now? Man, this call about to be so good. I ain't even started training yet. Here we go. So here's my first regional event in the company. This was May of 2018. I had just hit Chairman 10, maybe a month or two prior. That's about 20 something people with me at the event, but that wasn't even everybody. I think at my first big event that I brought people to, this was about maybe 40, 50 people. We had convention that February or that March. I only brought about 15 or 20 people with me, right? This one, there was about 40 people with me at this particular event. A lot of these people are no longer in the company, but if you look to the back, to the left, you will see Tay Morgan. If you look to the right, you will see Geo. If you look down, you will see Platinum 5000, Anointed, right? So let me keep going because I need you to really understand the importance of events. Because if you understand this, you will start taking events more seriously. Online events, Zoom events, all that. So now let me fast forward. Let me fast forward. Let me fast forward. Let me take you to May. Let me take you to May of 2019. Let me take you to May of 2019, because this is when I really started to understand. This is when I really started to get it at this point, because I had experience, I've grown, and I said, cool, if this is what's going to help me blow my business up, then I'm just going to do it, right? So let me share my screen. Look at this. Look at it. Look at it. Did y'all see that? Miss Valencia, did you see that? Thumbs up if you saw that. You saw that? That was in May of 2019. I was a Chairman 10. There was over 100 people at that event as a Chairman 10. Now, upon leaving that event, we had convention in Dallas about 3-4 months later. At the Dallas convention, there was another 100 plus people in Dallas. So you wonder how we went from Chairman 25 to Chairman 50 in 19 days. It's because we had 100 people at one event in May, and then we came back in Dallas in September with another 100 plus people. But it doesn't stop there. Watch this. Watch this. I'm not done yet, because you're gonna recognize that it's promotion that builds the business. You're gonna recognize that. I'm gonna show it to you. So watch this. Let me fast track. Let me fast track. A lot of you guys may be in this picture right here that I'm about to pull up. Some of you guys anyway. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Where are we at? Where we at, Cool Jones? Y'all forgive me. Y'all know I'm not the most organized person, but when I come, I do come correct. So give me a little minute as I find this picture. Here we go. Here we go. I got it. Don't worry. I got it. Boom. Look at all those people in London. And that's still not everybody. That's about 60 people in the picture, but we had about 80 people in London. So watch this. For every person that you bring to an international convention event, you can add an extra $2,000 a year on top of your income. Extra $2,000 a year on top of your income. Conventions, regional events, and all that, $1,000 for every person that you bring. But you got people traveling internationally, you can add an extra $2,000 a year. How can we get that many people to travel from the US to go to London? Because we promoted the hell out of the event. That's how. We promoted the event. So you got to understand, the promotion is the highest paid skill in network marketing. Here's why. Because let's say you aren't that good. Let's say your skill set isn't that great. If you get people to the event, guess what? They're around the people that do have the skill set. They're around the people that do have the information. They're around the people that do understand in totality how to build a massive business. But if you don't promote the trainings, if you don't promote the events, if you don't promote the chairman mentorship calls, if you don't promote all the calls where people that, because think about it, think about how many calls that you've gotten onto and you said, man, this call was good. This training changed my life. This is about to help me change my business. But see, it's not about you. How many people do you have listening to that information with you? Like, think about that. How many people do you have listening to that same information with you? See, I talked about this on a call last night. The greatest leaders are not the ones that do the greatest things. The greatest leaders are the ones that can empower other people to do great things. So it's not enough for you to be on the training calls. It's not enough for you to be on the Zooms. It's not enough for you to have your ticket to the virtual convention. How many people are you going to have from your organization at the convention? Because here's what events do. Events tell a story better than you can tell it. You want to write that down. Events tell stories better than you can tell it. See, when you leave an event and you come back and try to tell your organization what you learned from the event, man, by the time you get off the flight, by the time you pick up the phone to call people, a lot of information has already left your mind. Why? Because on average, the human mind thinks about 60,000 thoughts every single day. The human mind thinks about 60,000 thoughts every single day. So isn't it safe to say that some of those things that you learn, it won't be as clear by the time you tell it to somebody else? Y'all remember that game we used to play when we was kids called telephone? And by the time you went around the circle, the message had got completely messed up because the person that told it to you messed it up because the person that told it to them messed it up. It's the same exact way when you're promoting events. See, it's not enough for you to just tell your organization. You got to get the people there. That's why David told me, bro, I can't teach you leadership in a day. I can't teach you how to develop leaders in a day. You got to get the leaders the same information that you got. So guess what David does after I ask him that question? A week later, he tells me to send him $1,000 to go to Bob Proctor. A week later, he says, bro, send me $1,000. You're going to Bob Proctor. You got to be there. And I'm like, bro, $1,000? I don't even got, man, I just de-ranked. You talking about $1,000. Matter of fact, hold on for a second. Because I was just sharing this with the leaders on the leadership call on Sunday. And on September 25th, I wrote this note in my planner. You can see it right there. All right, it's in blue. I wrote this note. Remember, David tells me to send $1,000. Oh, yes, Jamar, I'm very sore. I started training yesterday, and listen, he started me with squats, and it's just been a wrap. But anyway, so I write this in my planner, and what it says is, at this current state in my life, I'm 3 months late on my car note. I'm behind on both my credit card bills. Furniture bill is past due. I literally thought they was going to come repossess my furniture. But anyway, I owe my previous apartment $600. I owe my current apartment $321 because I was late the previous month. And I still owe them rent of $1,000 on Friday. But I just booked a flight to see Bob Proctor in LA. Why? Because my leader told me I had to be somewhere. Did I question it? No, because David understood the importance of getting people to the events, getting his leaders to the events. And who would I be to question somebody who's earned over $10 million at that particular time and over $25 million today? Who would I be? So think about that. Who would you be to question whoever your leader is that's earning more money than you? If they say get on the event, go to the event. Guess what you do? You go to the event. If they say get on the training, you get on the training. Because they're not saying it just to speak out of I hate to use the A word, but they're not saying it just to speak out of the A word. They're saying it from personal experience. So events tell a story better than you can tell it. Events build belief. Events elevate vision and eliminate negative thoughts. Write that down. EVENTS. Events elevate vision and eliminate negative thoughts. That's what events do. Because for a lot of us on the line right now, mentally, you ain't even there. And that's why you got on this call, because you're like, bro, I'm not there. I'm struggling in my business and I need something to help me get to the next level. Guess where you got to be at on November 6th through the 8th? The virtual convention, without a question. Without a question. Because events, they elevate the vision. They eliminate the negative thoughts. Why? Because you're going to have your belief recreated at that event. Don't matter that it's online. Don't matter. You still gonna hear information that you haven't heard before. You still gonna hear information that you've heard before, but that you've never applied. But watch this, it's not enough for you to just be there. You gotta make sure that there's other people there with you because you're promoting the event. Leaders are born at events. Big decisions are made at events. That's where the real decisions are made, when people are at the events. Because why? They're hearing this energy, they're hearing the success, they have this different level of feeling in their heart. They feel different, they feel rejuvenated. So those decisions, they're made at the events, whether it's virtual or live. Again, it does not matter. Right? But what are the keys to promoting an event? You know, I got keys for you. What are the keys to promoting an event? Well, the first key is you always having stories to share about events. That's the first key. And if you don't have a story yet, you got to listen to other people's story. You got to hear other people's story. All right? So if you've never heard a story about an event, you just heard my story. You just saw my whole process for, lack of better pictures. I could have brought more pictures out, but for the sake of time, I wanted to keep it short and dry. All right, short and to the point. So you got to have a story about an event so people can understand, man, that happened to somebody at an event. This is what changed for somebody when they went to an event. A lot of you guys on the call, you've already been to events before. So guess what you do? When you're promoting events, you're talking about the story that happened in your life, in your business, what changed in your mind after you went to that event. And another word for using stories about an event is just edification. So if you don't have a story, just edify the events. Talk really good about the people that's going to be at the event. Talk really good about the information you believe that you're going to hear at the event. Edify. That's a whole nother training for this week, right? The second thing is your belief, right? Your belief in the event has to be solid. So you got to have a real solid belief in the events, whether you've been there or not. And if you don't have belief, you just borrow people that have been to events. You borrow their belief. You hear their energy. You hear what they're saying about the events. That'll make you want to promote the event even more. Again, promotion is the highest paid skill in the industry. It's promotion. It's promotion. If you talk to Bryce Thompson, Chairman 750, if you ask him, Bryce, what's been the biggest change in your business? He'll tell you, when I start promoting events. See, before Bryce went Chairman 10, he had never went to an event. He had never brought his team to an event. Never. But when we had the Vegas convention, he had over 50 people there. He had iMillennials in the summer, over 700 people there. At the convention in Dallas, over another 700 to 1,000 people there. iMillennials 2, over 2,000 people there. You wonder how he's a Chairman 750. He promotes events. If you listen on Justin Owens' mixtape, he'll tell you, Events are the biggest momentum booster that you can ever have in your business. You want to make the big bucks, learn how to promote events. Make it a priority to promote events. Again, whether it's a training call, it does not matter. See, promoting is not just dropping a link in the chat. Promoting is not just, posting it on the gram. When you're promoting something, it's dominating your conversation. It's dominating your conversation with your leaders. It's dominating your conversation that you have with people when you're just in conversation. You're just talking about the business. Yo, how many people are going to have at the event? You going to the event? And you will only do that when your belief is solid. See, your belief in the event has to be solid. That's the only way you'll really promote it. And the next key to promoting events is repetition. It's repetition. See, I just took you through my process from basically 2016 up until 2019 or 2020 because I showed you London. You got to put the work in. You got to put the reps in. You got to keep talking about it. Because if you don't talk about it, it won't be clear to your organization. If you don't talk about it, it won't be clear to your leaders. Anybody that's a part of our organization, you know that I've been talking about convention for the past month. It's virtual. I didn't wait until a week to start promoting for. I started promoting for it last month. Why? Because I understand what it did for the organization. I understand what Derek Smith told me in 2016. I also heard another story. There's a gentleman who's made a lot of money in the industry. Right? He's one of the top trainers in the industry. And he always tells this story about events and how he went to his very first event. And he was at the back of the event and he was standing next to one of the top earners at the event. And he asked the top earner, what's the secret? You just got an $80,000 bonus check. Bro, what's the secret to doing that? He walks him to the convention room, right? He has him looks around. He said, look at this room. He said, half of this room won't be here next year. Half of this room, they won't be at the next convention. But the other half that does come back to the next convention, they're going to double their income. But watch this. At the next convention, those people that double their income, half of them won't be there either. They're going to find another deal to go to. They're going to drop out of the industry. Their volume is going to go backwards, and they won't be there. But the key is to keep showing up. If you keep showing up to the events and bringing people with you, at some point, you're going to start doubling your income, tripling your income. When I went to my very first IMO event, regional event, you know who I brought with me? It was 3 people, Brittany Burrell, Gaston, and Gio. In September of 2017, we got in my car and we drove 14 hours to Houston, Texas. The first night we slept in the car. Why? Because we understood the importance of just being at the event. The next event, which was the Vegas convention, brought about 20 people with me. The next event, which was in the one I just showed you in Houston, we brought about 30 to 40 people with us. That fall at the Rise in Fort Lauderdale, we brought about 50 to 70 people with us to that event. Vegas convention in 2019, we brought another 60 to 70 people to that event. May 2019, Houston, we brought 100 plus to that event. Dallas 2019, we brought 100 plus to that event. London, out of the country, we brought 70 plus people to that event. Why? Because I understand the importance of events. And it's so beautiful for you. You ain't even got nobody. You don't even have to get people to go anywhere. You got to get people to pay $25 to be at convention. You got to get people to press a free Zoom link to be on the Zoom call. But see, the only reason why they won't press that link is because you, as a professional, have not made it important. So you know what you do? You stay in the position of an amateur. And amateurs don't make money. The professionals with the skill sets are the ones that make money. Proof, Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints, $75 million, 4th year in the league. 75 million. Skills. David Imonetier, highest paid African American income earner in the world. Why? Skills. Alice Morton, highest paid income earner in the industry. Why? Skills. Yvonne Tapia, top 5 highest paid income earner in the industry. Why? Skills. See, before you can become a millionaire, you got to become a skillionaire. And the highest paid skill is promotion. So now what I want you to do is just drop in the chat, what are some of the reasons people don't show up to events? Just drop in the chat. Drop some of the excuses why people don't show up to events. Money, lazy, work, time, money, fear of the unknown, no transportation, schedule conflict, kids, my rabbit got sick, lack of belief, afraid of flights, don't think it's important, don't see the value, rent due, excuses, don't have the time, pyramid scheme, what the hell ever, waste of time, scam, mindset, don't see the value, preparation, money, time, lack of promotion, bills. See, every objection that you just named is a reason why you got to promote the convention and the reason why you have to make it important for people to be there. Oh, you got something to do with your kids. Well, that's why you got to be at this convention so you can make enough money to afford a nanny, afford to put your kids in the best daycare that you possibly can. You don't have enough money right now because your job ain't paying you enough. That's why you got to be at the event to get your belief system expanded so that you can grow your belief and grow your organization. So whatever the objection is, it's not a good enough reason for you to miss the convention. It's not a good enough reason for you to miss an event. But see, people will miss it when you as the promoter or you as the poser don't make it important enough. See, no objection is a good enough reason why somebody can't show up to an event. See, every reason why you named in the chat, that's a reason why they have to show up. But you know what you got to do? You got to make it important. So what do you got to do upon leaving this particular day one of skills training, skills camp? You got to just make the decision to say, I am going to become a master promoter. Write it down. I am going to become I am a master promoter. Because I got on this call, I'm now a master promoter. And I'm not just going to promote big events. I'm going to promote the Zoom calls. I'm going to promote the trainings. Why? Because I'm a professional. And what professionals do is point to information and leverage the leadership. They leverage the system. They leverage the experience of other people. That's what professionals do. So you got to decide to go pro, to become a professional promoter. That's what you got to do. You got to make that decision to do that. And then you got to commit to that decision. Then you got to commit to that decision. Okay, I made the decision, but I'm going to commit. And commit means I'm going to stay true to what I said long after the feeling or the mood that I said it in has completely left my body. So yeah, I was listening to Riyadh last night. He gave me all these stories about promotion. He showed me his process of promoting events, blah, 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 blah. But damn, I really don't feel like it no more. You still gotta be committed to promoting. You still gotta be committed to becoming a master, right? So I gotta decide, and then I gotta commit. But thirdly, I gotta have a goal. I gotta have a goal. See, every training, every event, every whatever, you gotta have a goal of how many people from your organization are going to be tuned in. I had a lot of people last night text me and say, bro, that call, that was it. That call was the one. That call, bro, it changed everything about me. And the question that I should have asked everybody that said that, I should have said, how many people from your organization was tuned into the call? How many people from your organization felt that same way about the call? Because it's never just about you. It's about the entirety of the organization. Because if you get the information, try to pass it to them, it's not going to be the same. Because they're not in the environment where the information was given. So don't think you can be that person, because this is who I thought I was. I'm going to go to the event. I'm going to go to the trainings. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to teach it to my organization. By the time I'm ready to teach it, I've forgotten some of the most key points. You want to know why? Because you never, write this down, you never remember a full training. You only remember statements from the training. That's why people want gems, because they can't remember everything else. They only remember the gems. They only remember the quotes. They don't remember everything in between the quotes, because our minds don't work like that. So what we got to do is take really good notes, but also make sure that we have people plugged into our organization, plugged in from our organization to the event. So you got to have a goal. So with convention coming up, right? I think we got like 30 some days to convention. You want to have a goal of how many people are you going to have tuned in to the virtual convention? How many event houses or launch pads are you going to have for the event? How many of your, watch this, if you're chairman, P5, whatever, how many of your leaders are going to have their own convention program going, where they got their own thing going? See, again, it's never about us as the leaders. It's about what we can get our leaders to believe that they can do. It's about empowering the leaders. See, it's not enough for me to just have 100 people in the house. What about my Platinum 2000s, my Platinum 5000s? Do they have their leaders tuned in right there with them watching that same event? So you got to have a goal of how many people you're going to have plugged in to the event. And not only that, family, right? When you're structuring, when you have this goal, let's say you want to have 50 people at an event. Well, this is when leadership comes into place, because now you have to break it down. You got to minimize the goal and say, cool, I want 50 people tuned into the convention. Yeah, I'm a Platinum 1000. I got 30 people in my group, 40 people in my group. But hell, I want 50 people there, because Riyadh said for every person I have there, I can add an extra $1,000 to my income. So that means I should be getting close to Platinum 5000, an extra $60,000 a year. So if I can get 50 people to the convention, I'm putting myself in position to go Platinum 5000, 60 to 90 days after the convention. I believe that should be everybody's goal. 50 people at the convention, because you got 30 more days. You can get guests to the convention. You can get people in your organization to the convention. You can get inactive people to the convention. But watch this though. If you got 5 people that are committed with you, you say, cool, I need y'all to get 10. How many people do y'all want to have at the convention? Well, I want 10, I want 15, I want 20. And then you have them take ownership of their goal. They have to take ownership. If you want 1,000 people at an event, well, you can have 10 leaders to have 100. You can have 50 leaders, I think, to have about 20. You can have 100 people to bring 10. Whatever the numbers down, whatever the numbers are, you have to break it down and then give people ownership, right? To have their people tuned into the convention, tuned into the event. It's very important that you take this skill seriously, because if you take promoting seriously, watch this, you don't have to work as hard. See, the other leaders are going to be working for you. The other leaders are going to be doing the trainings for you. The other leaders are going to, think about this. Think about if you really promoted this and people from your organization was listening right now. Think about how many more people you would have at convention if you would have just got 7 more people on the call, 10 more people on the call, 20 more people on the call. That's why the events are so important. So you got to understand, family, that promoting is the highest paid skill in the industry. Events tell a story better than you can tell it. Events provide social proof. Events build the belief. Events elevate vision and eliminate negative thoughts. Leaders are born at events. Big decisions are made. Life-changing decisions are made at events. What are my keys to promoting events? Well, I got to have stories about events. I got to edify the events. That's not enough though, because my belief has to be in the event. It has to be solid in the event. And then I have to consistently push the message through repetition to create clarity in my organization as to why we have to be at the event. Because every person that you have at the event, you can add an extra $1,000 a year on top of your income. I just proved it to you, right? And then you got to decide to say, you know what? I've been dropping the ball on this promotion deal, but I'm going to take this promotion thing seriously. I'm going to really promote these calls. I'm really going to promote these events. I'm really going to promote whatever event is coming to my market. I'm going to really make this thing a big deal. I'm not going to wait because this is why a lot of people don't promote. They wait to the last minute and it's too late. So you got to make that commitment to become a professional and not wait to the last minute, and then commit. and then have a goal of how many people I'm going to have at these major events, whether it's a convention, whether it's a call, whatever. You should know that, man, if I can just get 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 people tuned into all this information, the leaders, the system, the trainers, they help me build my business. I don't have to build it by myself anymore. And then you have your leaders take ownership. Number one, you take ownership, but then you have your leaders take ownership so they can promote with you. And then you guys come up with a game plan on how many people y'all are going to have at the convention, how many people y'all are going to have at the event. So guys, I'm super excited. Day one was really, really good. If you guys got value from day one, drop some fire in the chat box. Matter of fact, I'm going to unmute the lines. Make some noise if you got value.
Let's go.
Yeah, all the way.
Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So grateful.
Yeah.
11.
Grateful.
Yeah.
Jamming.
Yes, sir.
Value on this call. In the building, baby. Tyree
Yes, sir.
Houston, Texas.
Let's go. It's great, guys. So we'll be back tomorrow. We have another topic for tomorrow. It's going to be really, really good, diving more into the skill sets that's needed to building a 7-figure organization. So with that being said, because I will see you at the bank. Good night. God bless. Make sure you master the skill of promoting. Good night, guys. Love you all.